In the original story, the Weasley family follows a specific order: 6 sons followed by a single daughter. This structure makes Ginny more than a sibling. She represents a final piece of the family puzzle and Harry Potter's ultimate romantic partner. Now, imagine a version of the burrow where that 7th child is another boy. For this timeline, Arthur and Molly name their youngest son Ginevra, keeping the name but changing the trajectory of the family. This immediately alters Ron's experience. He is no longer the final boy in the lineup. Instead, he grows up with a brother right behind him, someone to compete with for attention and hand-me-downs in a house already crowded with male energy. Replacing a younger sister with a younger brother transforms a protective dynamic into a constant rivalry. Ron's developmental years are now defined by a need to distinguish himself from a male peer who is constantly at his heels. This alternate history was inspired by Potterhead at Ampari 8186, who proposed this specific shift in the Weasley household. If you have a what-if theory of your own, leave it in the comments. We regularly feature the most interesting ideas in our videos. Investigating these changes shows how many major events in the wizarding world depend on the specific gender and social roles of the Weasley family. The timeline moves to the 2nd year at Hogwarts. While the family dynamic has shifted, the physical events of the Chamber of Secrets remain the same. The diary is still planted, and the chamber is still opened. For Ron, the crisis changes from a brother's protective fear to the horror of seeing his closest male peer succumb to Voldemort's control. He watches his younger brother lose his identity to the diary. Harry views the situation through his own past, recognizing a reflection of the isolation he experienced growing up. When Harry descends into the chamber, he aims to save a version of himself. He faces the basilisk to retrieve a boy who, like Harry, was nearly consumed by a darkness he didn't ask for. After the rescue, both boys carry the memory of Voldemort's mental intrusion. This shared experience creates a permanent understanding. The chamber becomes the foundation for Harry's most reliable wartime alliance, linked by surviving Tom Riddle's influence. As the years pass and Voldemort returns, the focus shifts to the resistance inside Hogwarts, specifically Dumbledore's army. The youngest Weasley retains his fierce determination. He refuses to be just another Weasley, proving his skill and his willingness to fight. On this map, Voldemort's attention is fixed on Harry. The youngest Weasley's node stays gray, an unknown factor. Viewed as insignificant, he moves undetected, cutting off the regime's control while the Death Eaters are distracted. His reasons for fighting are practical. He isn't seeking the spotlight or a place in history. He is fighting to keep his family alive as the war reaches the burrow. By removing the prophecy and the romance, we see a soldier Voldemort can't predict, someone who operates effectively because the enemy only looks for threats in the form of fame or ancient power. The most significant change to the timeline is the disappearance of the relationship between Harry and the youngest Weasley. Instead of falling in love, the two develop a platonic bond. They become brothers in every sense, tied together by years of shared combat and survival. This leaves Harry's romantic future open. Without a predetermined path toward the Weasley family, Harry might remain focused on the war or find a different connection during his final year. Without a romantic partner to return to, Harry's primary support system shifts. He relies entirely on the camaraderie of the people fighting beside him to endure the final months of the war. The Battle of Hogwarts begins. Castle walls shake under constant impacts, and the courtyard becomes the setting for the final defense against the Death Eaters. Ginevra takes his place on the front lines. He stands with Ron and Neville, defending the bridge and the corridors as an equal part of the resistance. When Harry returns from the Forbidden Forest to finish the fight, he finds a brother in arms ready to stand with him. The grief in the courtyard is heavy, but it is met with the resolve of a soldier who has already survived the worst. These alternate timelines are made possible by your support. Subscribing helps us continue to explore the hidden logic of the wizarding world. Without Ginny in the story, who do you think Harry would have eventually married? Changing a character's gender doesn't rewrite the facts of the war. but it reveals how much our favorite heroes are shaped by the specific people standing beside them.